50 years.
Unbelievable. 50 years, and it's been a great 50 years, and Seattle community has so much rich history in those 50 years, and once again, they've really changed the landscape of not just the Central, just not Seattle Community College, but the whole state. They've been a leader in different programming because they've been willing to take a chance where others haven't.
Brothers and sisters together, Chicano, Indian, white, black, yellow, green, polka dot, anything.
And you had students, obviously, that weren't afraid to push the button a little bit further than maybe it should have been. But in so many ways, by pushing those buttons, it opened the door. It opened that elevator up where we could move up.
Is this racism or what?
If we didn't have Seattle Central, we would have to make it up because it is so important to the fabric of the city. When I first got there as a student, you know, my eyes about busted out because of all the things that were happening there. You know, there was obviously the anti-war. The hotbed issue was obviously Vietnam. And so the massive demonstrations that were occurring around the country started locally in the Seattle area at Seattle Community College. We had demonstrations and there was forums almost every day about the war. And then you had the whole civil rights movement. It had to do with wanting an African American on the board of trustees of Seattle Community College. There were none. And so they said, we want a board of trustees and we want an enhanced program for African Americans. First of all, the administration didn't agree with them. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's central to social justice. It's almost in its very fabric that Seattle Central will be the location to start the march, to start the demonstration. That diversity of programming has always been very strong, and it attracted that kind of a student, obviously. And because of that, it has maintained kind of that hotbed of activism and innovation and let's give it a go type of attitude. And so there was interesting discussions. And I think that kind of discussions, I don't know where you would have gotten it other than at a Seattle Central. Therefore, it became what people thought was the hotbed of activism, in which it was and continues to be. It's not like it just happened all of a sudden. It has happened for a long time, and it has to do with that it is centrally located to some key areas, some key neighborhoods. One being Capitol Hill, one being the central area. So it's an easy place to get to. It's not necessarily what you call a residential area. And so it's close. It's close to some targets as well, like downtown. You know? Seattle Central really was central in terms of when you think of community. It embodied the term community. It knew that there was going to be a large immigration population, so it had programs. It had the returning veterans. It had strong veteran programs. And so it embodied the issue of community. Seattle Community College, you know, was the heart of the community. You know, it was the heartbeat. You know, it was the soul. So many things started there and so many things continue there. Seattle Community College has been central to transformation because it has been the leader of recognizing what is happening in this area. It was one of the first colleges, if not the first college, to recognize the need for a strong bilingual education program. You know, I take a look at how huge that was and how other colleges didn't have that. The future is real bright for a campus like that who looks at change as being exciting, and it looks at change as being something that they want to be at the forefront of. I can't imagine them ever sitting back and saying that the status quo was okay.